Voices, where we talk about issues surrounding and within the Black community. Today, we're going to be talking about our hot topics, side hustles. But before we talk about side hustles, I want to talk a little bit about this book, the Black Book, which is a directory and oh, stop.
No, we're live.
Anyway, a directory and yearbook of events in San Antonio, Austin, and surrounding areas. So if you want to get this book, go ahead and go to blackbookpremiere.com to purchase the book. We also want to take a moment to say thank you to our producer, Carl Booker, who is our commander-in-chief. And as Fred says, the what does he call him? The Inquisition sometimes?
Dictator.
Or the dictator? Okay. So today's hot topic, I think is interesting. It's called side hustles. And to give you some stats, side hustles. We're seeing a lot of millennials, a lot of Gen Zers doing side hustles. In fact, 39% of adults in the United States have a side hustle. But within that 39%, about 80% of those in doing those side hustles are millennials and Gen Zers. And then, of course, the baby boomers are also capitalizing on side hustles. I've seen all of these messages come across my phone, my computer, about people making $7,000, $5,000, $1,000 per month just doing on side hustles. So, you have a side hustle?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
I got a couple of them.
You got a couple of side hustles?
Yeah. One is financial. And, people who need help in their financing, I've got them working for me right now that will do a trust for me, that will do, I've got something called a diversified cash flow account, as opposed to putting my money into the bank, okay? I put it into kind of like my own bank, and I can borrow against myself and do, different things that I like. And it's got a kind of an MLM type of piece to it. So those people, if they want to participate, you can hit me up, and I'll be glad to tell you about it.
And this is Chris Dawkins. So when I was working for a particular university, in fact, when I lost my job with a major corporation, I did not have a side hustle. And I had a small child that I had to also raise. So I finally, through the help of my parents and a couple of board members, they got me a job at one of the military bases working for one of the school systems. And so that helped me there. However, my side hustling began when a friend of mine at one of the universities on the base said, hey, I got a course I need someone to teach. Can you teach this course? And of course, I jumped on it. And because of that invitation, it started my side hustling to where no matter what other job I had, I was starting to be what we call an adjunct professors for multiple universities to where technically I was making more money as an adjunct than I was doing on my full-time jobs. So when I was working for a university in 2010, all the people in my position were laid off, and a lot of folks said, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I wasn't saying that because I was working for 5 other universities at that time via a side hustle. So people have multiple reasons for side hustling. So I guess the question is, well, let me go back. A while back, people could retire from jobs. Remember that?
Yeah, can't no more.
They get gold watches,
right?
Gold pins, whatever.
Pensions.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anybody get a gold watch in a long time from a job they have retired for. So have corporations let down society in terms of not giving them the mental security to know that they have a job tomorrow?
I believe so, because most folks don't start with one job and continue that job for another 20, 30, 40 years and then retire from that job. It just doesn't happen anymore. So you can't do that anymore.
So
everybody needs a side hustle.
And so I've been, and I'm looking at the various side hustles. People are big, in my own neighborhood, we've got a woman side hustling. She is the neighborhood baker. We've got young Gen Zers. They're in school, right, high school, but their side hustle is going around with power washers, trying to get people to, hire them to power wash their driveways and stuff.
Let me say something. We're in San Antonio, Texas. I believe this is the epicenter of side hustles. I hate to say it this way, but the Latino community has been one that has really, in my opinion, shown the way of different types of side hustles. I see them doing all kinds of stuff. It just triggered me when you talked about the lady who's doing the baking. I got a lady who's in my neighborhood who, you want some cupcakes or whatever, she can make those for you. You got just all kinds of people that are doing various different things, and some things that you wouldn't even think that they would be able to do. So in addition to the regular things that they're doing, like landscaping and lawn service and all the kind of stuff like that. I got one guy who was cutting my lawn, and I think he works for the electric company during the day, and he cuts lawns in the evening and on the weekends. So there's a lot of things that can be done for you to supplement your income. And I think it's really great because some of those side hustles become very big corporations.
Yeah, like this one man is an Uber driver. He works full time during the day, but he can schedule his Ubering, according to his schedule. So people are looking for flexibility. People are looking at different ways of supplementing their income. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So I got to thinking about the side hustle bit, okay? So yesterday I found out something, and I've already put an order in. I didn't know about the movable mouse. Okay, and so where are you going with this, Chadwell?
What do you mean the movable mouse?
Yeah, you put the mouse, in
a computer mouse.
A computer mouse, and it just moves, okay, on its own. And so corporations have been really in a tizzy trying to get people to come on back into the building to work for remote,
right?
Because they're against this remote work. And so what was happening was, from headquarters or whatever, they were watching people hours via the mouse on this computer, right? Well, somebody probably side hustled and developed this mouse that you can leave on the pad and it just moves on its own.
I never heard of that.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. Send you the link. You get it from Amazon, okay? And it just moves on its own. And I think it was kind of neat because sometimes when I leave my computer to go take care of business, when I come back, of course, the computer is dark. Because this mouse is moving, it would always stay up. And so Big Papa, Big Mama, they're thinking that you're working. You may be out in the backyard cutting the grass. You might be outside, going for your walk or running. But yeah, so I believe that mouse was the event of a side hustle, was developed during a side hustle. So yeah, so people are finding all kind of ways of just trying to survive.
You know what frustrates me is those people that I run into that either don't want to know about the side hustle. To me, find out about everything that you possibly can. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it, but at least know about it, because there could be some things that are very valuable to you that could be services that you may want or need, but you don't know that if you're not open to hearing about it.
Well, I know that one side hustle that I was doing when I was working on my doctorate, or right afterwards, before my doctorate, I was an editor. In fact, I was a ghostwriter for a lot of superintendents who needed things written up, and so I wrote it up for them. And I was kind of shocked. I said, you're in education, can't you write your own paper? But they paid me to write their paper. And then that got me going into editing for dissertations to where, I made money with that. And then corporations who knew their people were in these programs would contact me saying, what would it take to get this person through? So there's a lot of ways in side hustling, and there's nothing wrong in saying it. I think historically, we as Black folks, we've been side hustling. We've had the juke joints. We had, what else did we have?
Selling numbers, selling alcohol, all kinds of stuff. Everything that the federal government is now doing for the federal government, it probably was started by Black folks.
So side hustles. So again, we're seeing an increase, especially with these Gen Zers. They're side hustling. Millennials are side hustling. In fact, if you look at the number of millennials who are involved in Bitcoin, cryptos, a lot of those currencies, a lot of them started that as a side hustle, and they made a tremendous amount of money off this cryptocurrency. And so now they're expanding their interest in other areas. So it would be kind of curious as to see what side hustles you are involved with or have considered. It's coming down to where you can no longer think about not doing a side hustle because these corporations are not loyal to keeping people on jobs as long as our grandparents and parents.
I think Chris Brown had a song like that. These aren't loyal. I'll leave the word blank as to what he said. But you know what? I would love for the people who are watching this to put into the comments what your side hustle is or what you're looking for. Even this name across here was a side hustle that I had. And for a long time, it was my only income.
So side husles. Do your research. Find out what works. Find out what's needed out there. Think about talk to friends or people in the area who could benefit from those side hustles, because it's becoming the name of the game nowadays. If you don't have a side hustle, then you might be losing out on financial opportunities beyond your dreams.
And then what happens to that person if they're working a job, they have the side hustle, or they don't have a side hustle and they lose their job, then they have nothing. It's always good to have something else that at least you're making a little bit of money to be able to pay one or two bills. You may not be able to pay all of your bills, but at least you can pay one or two of your bills.
Well, that's what happened to me when I was working, I was in administration with a particular university where they let everybody off with my title. If I did not have those side hustles going on at the same time, then I would have been, as we say, up a creek without a paddle, because I had a house note I had to pay, car note, all kind of things going on. So those side hustles have been lifesavers for many people, many people. So I would encourage you to think about it and try it. Even if I know one woman at my church, her side hustle is working with other elderlies just to drive them to the grocery store, and that could be a moneymaker, because a lot of elderly people and their family members will pay you to take their relatives to the grocery store. So there's so much involved out there to where this is where your creativity can really emerge.
You bring up a good point, though, when you talk about driving other people to the store. The one thing you must remember when you have a side hustle is that you're not immune from the laws that are or that govern our country or our state. So what I mean by that is that if you decide that you want to drive people, there is a liability that comes along with that, and you do need the type of insurance to make sure, because we live in America, it's a litigious society, and somebody's going to sue you. So you want to make sure that you are protected.
Have the protections.
Yeah.
So with that being said, side hustles are here to stay. They're going to grow, so use your creativity. Do you. And with that, we want to say thank you for listening to this hot topics about side hustles. See you next week.
That's a wrap.